Judges and my fellow students, good afternoon. In front of you is Emmanuel, Form 4 student, and I would like to present my project, which is about an Android development. I made an app called JAD. The app JAD was inspired from learning online. Previously, we lost almost a year due to challenges, due to the effect of Corona. We went home, and during that period, most of us could not be able to undertake lessons, and we did lost time, which now we are most painful. So in that aspect, I came up with a project, made an app in which we can be able to view teachers' videos. Mostly these are the teachers who participate in the YouTube channels. Also there we can also get other revision materials to view and learn, and also it can be used to connect with, also since most of us are students, we have the phones, you can download the app and you can use it to view a certain teacher's lessons, videos on how to go through certain perspectives. And with that, I think I can show how to run the application. So first I'll demonstrate on how I build it. This is where first of all you need to use an app known as Android Studio. In this application, in an application we have it is divided into two. We have an activity and you have an XML file. An activity is the screen that you are able to view, and inside it, this is where it comes to play. And an activity is made up of a Java file and an XML file. With that, the Java side of the activity is used in coding or giving instructions to what you're supposed to use on how the application will act. For example, if a certain icon is clicked or a text view, what will happen to it, what is it supposed to do. And here, I'll first of all start with the main activity and its XML file. So my main XML file, when you create, this is the first activity that it provides for you as a default. So what I did, I made this to be a splash page. So when you click my application, this is what you are to see. If I was able to connect with the team viewer, this was the splash screen, and with it, here this is where you do an XML coding. This is where you design how, for example, it will be. As you can see, these are various codes. We have the layout, the major layout of how it will appear. We have where you insert the icon, the major icon. There are two text boxes there. If I can scroll, you can go to the design view. And stretch it that way. As you can see, this is how it is. This is how it looks. But on the other side is the structure design of how I made it, using the layouts of how to make the application. So this was the main activity. This is the splash screen on how it will load. So on the Java side of the activity, where I gave it function, this is where you come and initiate the popping of the screen. For example, when an image slides from the top to the bottom, when a text view comes from the bottom to the top, those we refer to as animations. And with those animations, this is where you start by first you declare whatever you have created in the XML in the first code. After the public class, you initiate them inside there, and then you create you give each name. You first of all create variables in which those images, those views will be inserted in. As you can see, the first one was written image view. I called it the icon. The first text, I called it the down text, since it's coming from the bottom side. And the second text, I called it down text 2, since it's still coming from the bottom, on the bottom side. to try to show what I mean, the icon is this image, the icon there, that was the one I called an icon. The JAD is the down text, and the learning made easier is the second down text. And as you can, when you move down, after that, there's a place where here you come and initiate. You give them the values. In Java, you work with methods and variables and declarations. So here, after you have created that variable, for example, for inserting the icon, you will come and declare it here. You come and give it that variable an action. For example, what will it be storing? So the icon will go and find view by ID. It will go to the main activity, find the item by its ID. The ID of my icon was uptick. That's why you can see it there. And the rest of the codes are used to describe on how it will, the flow of the function of the screen would stay. And then we have the login screen. So this is the login screen. Once the activity has run, and it will take you to the login screen. Here you can be able to enter your username, your password, and your email account. If you're a new member and you have not used this app again, you can come and click on the down button, register a new member, and then what happens, it will take you to another activity referred to as the register. This is where it will take you through. In the register activity, here you'll be required to insert your various informations that are required, and it will enter a username. You'll be required to enter your username, your first name, your last name. We have the password. You need to confirm that you have inserted the password, whether the password that you have inserted you're sure of it, and then the email part. Once you're done, when you click the register, it can take you back. It will take you back to login screen so that you can now log in using that account that you have created. Or if you click it by mistake and you didn't want it to register, you can just simply click to back to login so that it will take you back, and then you can initialize and log in. And on that side, so in the registration activity, these are the functions I made. I would like to demonstrate mostly apart from here. There's a method I used to refer to as shared preference. This is where you get to import your structure, you get to store data in the background of the phone. For example, those usernames, once you have clicked, as you can see from line 51, it will take those usernames that you have installed and put them into another method, into a class referred to as the shared preference, store them inside there. Once it is stored, when you click on 60, it shows the method of what happens when you click on the register button. Once you have clicked that button, what happens is that it first of all checks. It checks, does the name have input? If it does, it will. If it doesn't have the input, which means that if it goes with the first action, which means it doesn't have the input, it will set an error. It will show you an error saying username is required, and if it doesn't, and if it is failed, it will move to the next activity, meaning that you have accomplished what it is required for you. Same case with all these functions, they apply in the same principle, checking the other variables such as the last name, first name, confirm password. They all fall in the same category of classification. Once that is done, it will take you to another activity referred to as the director. This is where I designed it. Director. Yes. On the director, this is where it will take you to where our teachers will be, or the speakers in this application. So we have here, what you have here is, and this is the design view of how it will look like. Here, this is where you'll get to see the various speakers or teachers that we'll be having in the application. From here, you can select whoever you want. As you can see, we have a picture of a teacher, Mr. Gishai, and the others I made some clarifications and inserted them in another method in the Java file. Once you click on any of them, it will take you to an activity, the last activity in my application, referred to as the for example, okay, when you click the activity, for example, if you click in the on icon on Mr. Gishai, it will open an activity, a screen a screen that will show the videos that he has been making. Or if you click on the others, it will take you to a certain activity that showing those videos that they have made. And once you click them, for example, there, let me show you how it looks like. So in this activity, the code in here is kind of split, so you might not see the whole screen when complete, but I'll explain briefly on how it works. So what happens, for example, if you have clicked on Geshai's icon, it will take you here. Here in this activity referred to as the grid layout. Now what happens here is that it will show you a list, and the list are these codes right here that I have, and it will show you the codes that I have here. So what happens, it will show you the first icon, from line 38, from line 30, those are the images that I've inserted. First of all, they have an image which you'll be able to see. They have names. For example, if it is an access kind of program, if it is an access kind of video that he has made, it will show you that this is an access video. And then it has a name, the name there. And then what happens, once when you click it, it uses a link to take you to the YouTube video that he has made from. And with that brief explanation, I think I will launch one here so that I can demonstrate on what I've been explaining about. And so you can just give me a minute. So the judges here, this is the app JAD. Although with the time I was not able to modify the icon. If you could see, this is the JAD that I created. This is the JAD. It is a bit small. Hope that most can see. What happens once I click it? There it goes. It is opening up. As you can see, the icon came from the top and the text view came from the bottom. That was the splash screen. Then it has taken me to the login activity. Right now, as you can see from this point, this morning my Gradle kind of failed. I could not be able to fix it at the time, so the login activity may not function as required. Due to, you can see there's an highlight in the Gradle and in the build. There's a bit of corrupt files, which I hope with the time I'll be able to correct. But basically, this is how it looks like. Once you click here, you can insert your details, the password. Once you have registered, you can insert your username here. You can insert your password as well. And also here you can insert an email, which it can detect that it's an email. Once you click on login, it will take you to their screens. Right now I just have Mr. Geshai. If you can see the application, I have, as you can see, I have Mr. Geshai, and I also have Mr. Ogeke in my videos in the screen. So if I want to see Mr. Geshai's videos, I click, and then this is what I was explaining. What happens when you click? Once you have clicked the icon, it shows you first of all the first card view. They refer to as card views. So the first card view will take you to his account in the application. It will take you to his YouTube account, and then to the various videos that he has been making on the lessons. For example, there's one here saying about Access, how to create a cluster calculator using Access. So, for example, with that effect, I would like you to see first before I click to verify that it's there. So, with the Access, if I click it, it takes me to the YouTube video. where the access video is. Let us see it will load, and there it will start playing. What I've seen, I've clicked the icon and now it has taken me to the YouTube channel. If I take it back, if I want to see all the videos that he's making, I just click on his account, and then once I've clicked it, it takes me to his account. This is where his account is. Don't be shy. You can see the videos that he has been making and the rest of the others. Also, to show that it's not a scam, we can try Mr. Ogeke's account that I've created. Let us click it. There you go. There you see. There is Mr. Ogeke's account. As you can see, let us see his account in YouTube. So we click the first icon, and there it loads and it takes you there. There it is. So we can decide yes, let's go to the videos in YouTube, and there these are these videos and channels. And so with that, some of the challenges I've experienced using, first of all, as you can see, the one I was explaining, Android Studio, once we are coding, it's kind of very volatile. It is very sensitive. With a bit of error or a glitch in any grade or in any file, it can mess up the whole project. But how to solve it, it is easy. And another aspect that requires, for example, now in creation of this application, what you need a computer, a desktop. It needs to be a 64-bit processor. It should have a minimum of 8 RAM in order to install the application necessary, and it should also have an adequate space. Minimum space for an application like Android Studio to run is about 200 GB in order to run effectively. Once you install it, so let me just open it afresh. So this is how it looks like when it starts. This application, it will once you have installed it, there are various features. For example, as you can see, in order to run your application, you can use the phone where you connect via a USB cable, and you run it in order to see how it looks like. Or you can use another device known as an emulator. This is a device that runs inside the Android Studio. It's a virtual phone that portrays all properties of a phone, but it is inside the Android Studio. And in order to run it, that's why it requires a lot of space, because you can imagine this is an Android Studio that has another phone inside, or many others. And if you try to comprehend the capabilities a phone has, and this one has a variety, it is kind of it is indeed kind of large, so it requires a lot of space in order to run the application. With this, this is just a bit of the coding that I was able to do. I believe with further learning, once I resume back to learning more about it, with the advance in my course, I'll be able to edit it more. I can insert features such, for example, a teacher can have his own account in the application where he can update his videos, where they can also add other notes, even notes as well on their videos on how they have created. Also, it will be hosting a video view. This is where, for example, during the COVID, if you're in need of an application so that, for example, like Zoom, so that you can be able to have a conference in a class, the JAD app in the future will be able to provide as well, and it will be effective. And to its advantage from the research apps, this application will be a freeware, despite others like ABC mode. Those are very effective, but the problem is that they are kind of costly. Some they require inputs, cash in order to run. You need to pay for their services, but this will be a freeware, so that it will accommodate all students as well. The application will be a guarantee that students and teachers can interact throughout the country. For example, since this application will not be based on one school property, a variety of information from everywhere and be able to learn more about it. And with that, I would also like to commend my fellow programmers. Indeed, this journey is not easy. As you can see, it's a small piece of code, but working on it takes time and a lot of effort. So I'd like to congratulate you and also to encourage you as you go home, take your chances. This thing can really help you a lot, and it can also boost you. And to add another point about the reason for the creation of the app was to motivate positive use of applications. As you have seen from the past years or in the previous years, the young generations who are becoming developers are using their talents elsewhere, are getting to use their talents elsewhere in creating immoral or undisturbing applications. So this, I decided to make it to be a kind of a positive way of how we can be able to use our skills in order to advance our society and also in general to advance even us ourselves. And with that, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you.
There is something he has not said. He has not encouraged you to go to the level so that you get the knowledge like him.
Okay.
That is why he learned from.
Yes, if I could, yes, indeed, I'm a student in Zalego, 2 years. The first year I went there, I was doing web design. I also created a website referred to as the SOI. That is an upcoming system. That one is about school registration, where you can register online. In future, I'll be able to present it. And indeed, I would like to urge you a lot. I've gone there 3 times, so that should tell you that that place indeed is good. So, what I'll urge you is that once you get the chance, I tell you, once you get the chance, it's worth it. The experience there, the teachers there are really good. They do their jobs very well. They make sure you understand the codes so that you can be able to create something as simple as this, yet complex. So with that, I would like to urge you most, take your chances while you still can, and indeed, you'll be the beneficiaries at most. So, thank you.
Now, because of time, and I don't know, can we give just a minute, just demonstrate something, just a minute, and thank you, Mozambique. Just a minute, demonstrate something, we go.